Hello everyone, welcome back again to my channel, and this is Angular series. So just we started on this series, so let's get start to demo. Okay, so yeah, so I have created one application. Okay, and this is just initial level for beginner level. Okay, so just how in this session will show you like how we can create or how we can create our first Angular app. Okay, and along with this, after creating app, we'll also trying to understand okay how we'll trying to achieve a binding concept. Okay, so I just simple take a simple concept, simple example. Okay, just take a and then block content and just we have just trying to bind as a grid. Okay, so let's get started. So before starting proceedings of this one, okay, so I'm especially recommend if you first visit first time in my channel, so definitely uh, recommend to check out my other session which we have trying to do. Okay, take a pause, take a start. Okay, so let's get start to implementation. Okay, so first what you need to do, just open our command prompt. Okay, and make sure you have installed your node.js. Okay, so how we can check it like node.js is installed or not? Let me check, and let me add one command, node slash version means hyphen version. So see, it is showing me as a version is it is installed. I have installed. Okay, and another things is required Angular CLI. Okay, so that also we can check like ng version. Okay, so see, once you try to this command, so it is saying Angular CLI. Let me zoom in again. So Angular CLI is a 16.2 is installed, and also is node version is 18. Okay, so this is fine. So these are requirement because see, Angular the current version is 16, so I have installed latest version. So if you don't have, so don't worry about that, we'll tell you how we can install. So first, if don't have a node.js, so you can just go to Google and find to node.js. Okay, so see, this is node.js website, official website. Here you can just install your recommendation one. Okay, and then after installing then this, so you have to install that that CLI. So how we can do that? So let me open a CLI and then just clear first everything in this command prompt. Okay, how we can install that Angular CLI? So what you need to do, just npm install. Okay, globally, G for globally, and then you have to just mention angular slash CLI. Okay, or if you want to add which version, so you can just mention your version over here. Okay, and if you want to latest, so let me take at latest. Okay, and then hit enter. Okay, and just may just zoom in for you, like okay, this is a command npm install g angular CLI and then latest. Okay, and see, it will take some time to install your globally. Okay, once it's installed, okay, then you can just check it version ng version. So definitely it will show you like whatever Angular CLI version do you have installed in your machine. Okay, so that is done. Now I need to create a app. Okay, so if you want to create directly whatever directory, so you can just move it to that directory. Okay, like for example, I just move it to my another directory. Okay, just move it to another directory, and here I just want to create one directory, one app over here inside this D directory. Okay, so let me clear what first, and then ng new, this is a command for creator new application. Okay, so let me my Angular app. Okay, so let me let enter. Okay, so it is asking you like, do you want to use the routing? So yes, if you want to, yes, so you can put yes, and if you don't want to routing, so put is no. But yeah, ideally whatever application in future you will just you will just implement, so definitely routing is required, so just use this yes. Okay, and here is the some stylish things you, they will give the option as well, so you can choose whatever option like SCCS and SCS, CSS. So I will use over here as well as SCSS. So it will take some time to just create the project structure. Also I will explain what is that process structure, how's that those file folder is working, how's the flowing, so everything will describe. Don't worry about that. Okay, take a pause over here. Okay, so once it's done, so it will showing the message over here, see, package installing successfully. Okay, and later on it's just given some warning, see, those are warning. Okay, so those are warning, so we can ignore this warning, and finally it's saying successfully initialize that GitHub. Okay, so once it's done, okay, let me clear one more time. Okay, and then move it to your directory. So where is your directory? Just you can just change to directory. This is a command cd, and then move it to your directory, like for example my angular and tab, you will get that your directory, and go to that directory, and you can just simply ngs. Okay, this is a command for running serve, actually ng serve. See, it is a full form of ng serve, so it will run and it will actually set up the your environment and running your application in your locally. Okay, so let me hit enter, and it is saying like is already actually see, I already open in this one, so that let me close this one first. Okay, if you don't want to close the previous port, so you can just, it's asking do you want to another port, so if yes, so it will just create another port. So let me create y. Okay, so it will give us to listening another. Okay, so see, the port is generating for us in here now, this time is 594266. Okay, but default port is actually always 4200. Okay, so let me open this one. So see, once you open, you will see this, the default template, which is give us to uh, our angular CLI. Okay, and now let me open another command prompt. Okay, let me move it to that folder. Okay, and also again just choose your angular, my angular app. Actually I want to just show you like how's the project architecture and what are they. Okay, and how the you know what folder, what project architecture, how's working, so that flow. I need to open actually the BS code, this project, so I can open directly, or you can just open manually as well. So I will just open directly. It's simple, go to your folder. Okay, where your application, and then you just put that command code and dot, and make sure you have installed BS code as well in your machine. Okay, so let me open, see, it is opening over here, and also it's just asking something like it is tested folder or not. Just yes, tested folder. See, let me zoom in. So see, this is creating a default project architecture. It's a setup. Okay, so it's a angular folder, it's have a BS code, it's have node.js module. Don't worry, everything will explain. Okay, it have a src, it have a git ignore file, it have angular json, it have this, it have package.json, it have readme file, it have tsconfig. Okay, so let me explain one by one first. Okay, so that you can understand like, okay, how's actually after creating which folder, which file, what actually does. Okay, so starting with you know one, the important folder, that is a src. Okay, okay, before src, just take this one. Actually just do one, I'll talk to you later. Okay, this is default actually. uh, which is this is just contain that angular backpack or something like that. Okay, and then bs code also, just if you open that bs code, so it will generating this file for this launch and launching your application. See, if you're launching here, so that launching setup in this bs code launch file. Okay, so leave it to this two folder. Now move it to node.js. Okay, let me zoom in. Okay, so node underscore dot module. Okay, so this folder contain all the third-party modules that are installed in your project. These modules are installed using npm or yarn package manager. Okay, so basically whatever packages we require, just we have installed. So those are packages actually they have to keep inside this folder. See, every packages, whatever dependency of that angular. Okay, so all the packages they have to keep in this node.module. Okay, then move it to src. Okay, so src folder contain all the source code for your angular application. Okay, we'll go inside to later. Okay, because there's a many files. Okay, we'll go later. First we have to talk about that, the root for folder and files. Okay, then it is just ignore file, we can ignore it. Okay, and it is also just ignore git ignore file. So whatever file we don't want to include in this project while git changes or something like, so they actually managing, so this one. Okay, so the another file is angular.json file. Okay, so if you open this file, so see there's a many codes over here, like there is a build and there's a configurations. Okay, many things over here, also development. See, under this configuration you just set up the productions development. Okay, so what that contain actually, this angular.json file, in the angular is a configuration file that store information about the project architecture, dependencies, builds and test configurations and other settings. Okay, so those are actually containing. Okay, so let me move it to package.json log file. So see, this is another file which is actually containing whatever your dependencies. Okay, and whatever are just installed, and it is managing it for local purpose. Okay, and now move it to package.json file. So see, this package.json file actually containing your dependencies, whatever your dependencies, those are things they will contain. Also we can manage in this file, like whatever our see, this is a start, so we can whatever command when we have to start it, like see, ng build, ng serve. So based on these things we can manage. Don't worry about that, we'll do later in real world example. Okay, now it's a readme file also. So what is that readme file? Readme file just a file which is you can just mention whatever the initial level, what is the development things, and just for information purpose. So we can manage this file for informations store, so that everybody can go to repository and check out that files and get the information and they can start. Okay, see this one actually, ts config json file. Okay, so this will manage actually your typescript configuration. Okay, so this is done. Now it's ts. Okay, it's remaining a ts config app.json file. So what does this file? So this file is a typescript configuration file for the application. It is specific the compiler option that should be used a compile the application code. Okay, so it is actually responsible to compile your application code. Okay, and that's it for as of now for this root folder. Okay, now we have to move it to in our src folder. Okay, let me open here. See, there's a many folder over here. So the src folder contain the source code for that your application, angular application, which is I already explained, right? So now we talk about that app folder. So the app folder contain main component and other component for your application. For example, see, there is a default component is an app dot component html. So this is actually maintain your main component and other component. We can just whatever component we have to create it, we can just store over here and inside the app. Okay, and then we have to talk about that asset. So in this asset, okay, so this asset folder contain static assets such as images, css, okay, and and fonts. Okay, so those things we can maintain over here. Okay, and also later on we'll create that environment file. As of now we don't have as an environment file, but yeah, in later we'll use one of the environment file which is actually containing your environment information. Like if you want to some info, definitely for deployment purpose we require that environment file for different environment, like development, productions and validation. So we can keep those information on that. Okay, and then finally it have that index file. Okay, that index file is such a entry such an entry point for your application. Okay, so this is the entry point. Okay, so in this entry point, see, it is asking to app.root. Okay, so that app.root, we are actually this calling this app.root. If you go to, let me show the flow. Like see, this is the entry point. So just entry point, call that index.html file. Okay, and this file, also this file actually, the the file actually the call that app.root uh, component. Okay, so where is that component? If you go to app.html.ts file, okay, so see, this is that component. Okay, so this component call to up the here, and then finally it's running. Okay, and then we have another the main.ts file. Okay, so this file, it's file is the main module for your application. Okay, it is main module of your application. See, it is just calling your the app dot module. Okay, so where is that app dot module? So this is your app dot module. So this is actually calling for their main.ts file. Okay, and then finally there is a one more files is a, okay, there is a nothing over here, but yeah, in polyfills file, I think polyfiles in somewhere. No, it is not there, but yeah, definitely that you have to know. Like that polyfills files, import polyfills that are needed to support old browser. Okay, so we can manage our things on that polyfill file so that whatever old browser that will not support directly, so we can managing over here. Okay, but it is not over here, but yeah, definitely you have to aware that files as well. Okay, and then finally it's have style.tss file, so that definitely this is a very common file. So whatever style we want to use for this whole application, it's commonly, so we can manage over here. Okay, so those are done. Okay, and then that is done. Okay, and one more thing is a routing in this inside app. See, this is a main component, but in this main component also have a router, routing module.ts file. So this is actually maintaining their routing concept, like moving navigation to one page to another page. So that is actually it is maintaining. So don't worry about that, everything uh, we will do in a upcoming session. Okay, so okay, now what we'll do, already we have to show in a demo session. So we'll actually getting starting with the angular application first, and then we'll implement one of the simple grid and how we can bind. So that concept we have to check. Okay, so first just remove everything. Okay, okay, just do one side by side so that you can aware what actually happening. Okay, so once your angular application running, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, once I remove code, and then again you have to just close application and run application. It is actually, this is a flexibility give us to angular, right? Automatically it's running application, you can just change, automatically will reflect. Okay, so see, this is reflect, I just remove everything. Okay, then what I will do over here, I will just create one component. So how we can do that? There is a many way. Just whatever command prompt you can just do over here, as well as just if you open the VS Code, you can open, okay, you can open a terminal. Okay, So open the terminal over here and make sure it is not PowerShell. It should be a command prompt on node 1. Okay, and here you have to just create that command, one command to create a new component. So how we can create a new component over here? So it is very simple. ng generate, you can just put a full form as well as short form. Generate and just create, and then it's C4 component. Okay, generate component and that component name. So what would the name? Just for example, xyz. Okay, xyz component. Okay, so let me hit enter. Okay, see, it is generating xyz component inside here, inside the app, and it is just name is xyz. Okay, it is also just a blank. See, xyz is just as a blank file. Okay, also this is a generating for ts testing file. Okay, so this is a component. Okay, let me little bit zoom in. Okay, so see, this is a concept. Just the first line is just a import whatever import things. So just import the component. Okay, inside the component actually we have to declare the selector and then template URL. So which is the template or the HTML file, and also we can just style URL mention in the inside the component so that our component can render. Okay, and this is a one class where we can write our code. Okay, so it is very simple. Like first, see, just let me call this one to our main component first so that you can just okay, one thing actually I remove that I need to get back. Okay, so see, this router outlet, actually this router outlet required because this one actually managing your navigation. So just remove everything but don't remove that router outlet. Okay, so that's my mistake, so don't worry about that. It's happened. Okay, so let me, okay, so here the route outlets, and if before the route outlets we have to call that our component name whatever which we create newly. Okay, so xyz. Okay, let me call. See, once you call this component in your main component, like app component, so it is just rendering. Okay, and if you just make sure like it is your component is rendering or not, just you can just you know this is my first component. Okay, see, whatever component you just implement, it is just reflecting over here. Okay, and here we'll actually implement our some you know what is called, it is a list. Okay, so let me just copy paste a design. Okay, because I'm not going to details in the design, so it is very simple. Let me zoom in. Okay, see, I just create one div is inside a table and just created some tr, and then t body. Inside the t body we have to create loop through, we have to iterate that list. Okay, so whatever list I have a list of in here. Don't worry about that, we'll implement, we'll show you how we can create that blog list. Okay, and just this is a command actually to loop inside this DOM element. Okay, so it is very simple. To binding we can use that curly bracket. Okay, let me zoom in for you. Okay, this is curly bracket to binding, and inside this, see, this block can refer over here and then id and this here. Okay, this is a very straightforward things. Okay, and let me implement this block. Okay, so how we can do that over here? It's very simple. First you need to just create a one model. Okay, so I just create model over here, but yeah, in the best practice you have just to create a folder, and inside that folder you can just create your model and stuff. Okay, so I just create one model. Inside the model we just mention id, name and description. Okay, and after that what I need to do, I just need to create a constructor, default constructor. Okay, that's it. And then what I need to do, I need to mention, I need to just create initialize a property inside this component. Okay, this is a blank property, so first time always build is empty, and then we have to add some data over there here. Okay, so how we can do that? Actually there's a one some life cycle over here in this angular. Okay, So one of them, I later on will discuss every life cycle, but here the first life cycle actually will talk about that all the load, initial load your component. First life cycle call is that ng on init. Okay, so let me call that ng on init over here. Okay, see, this is ng on init. So once your load component, this will call, this will fire, and then this will fire. Actually just mention is that this variable or this dot blocks, and inside just be a pass the dummy, JSON. Okay, that's it. Okay, so once this done, I think your data should come here. Okay, it is not there, then let me check we have proper binding or not. Okay, so once it's done, then move it to HTML, and then okay, see, I think that name was not correct. Okay, so once you done, see, your loaded, your your things like your grid is loaded. But yeah, some styling has an issue because style not applied because I use the bootstrap, but bootstrap not applying. But how we can do that bootstrap, and that will do in a upcoming session. But yeah, that is not a part of this session. But yeah, just for binding, how we can bind this concept, so that we have to know. Okay, so that's it for this session. Okay, and thank you for have a nice day, and don't forget to subscribe.